Hello, and welcome to the magnificent, multi-talented E, the alphabet's most overworked vowel. My name is Jean Rischel, and I work with the Institute for Multisensory Education. Let's talk a little bit about vowel sounds. What letters in English can represent the vowel sounds? We know about A, E, I, O, and U, of course. But we also employ Y and W to spell certain vowel sounds. So we have combinations like AW, OW, EW, those are diphthongs. We have other combinations like AY and EY, which can spell long vowel sounds. And then we have Y by itself in words, such as by, baby, and myth, where it can represent several different vowel sounds. Now the vowels have a lot of important jobs to do. The main vowels can spell short vowel sounds, such as bat, pen, dim, not, and sub, or long vowel sounds in words like baby, reply, iron, only, and unit. And of course there's the dreaded schwa, where the vowels don't make the proper sound, or sometimes are actually eliminated completely, in words such as about, different, ridicule, and chocolate. However, there are so many more things that the vowel E can do. He has a number of extra jobs. Job number 1, magic E. Now the vowels enjoy saying their names, don't you? And they're always looking for ways to do this, despite those bossy consonants trying to tell them what to do. One of the ways to create long vowel sounds is by using the magic E pattern. So you might have a word with an A, a single consonant, and an E on the end, such as cake. This creates the long A sound. Or an E, a single consonant, and an E on the end, such as in stampede, to create the long E sound. You could have I magic E as in side, O magic E as in broke, U magic E as in cute. In words such as these, the final E gives all of its power to the first vowel, enabling that vowel to shout out its name, but that renders the E silent. Now usually the E can only work its magic across a single consonant, but it does sometimes work across digraphs. Consider words such as bath and bathe, or cloth and clothe. You'll see that when the E is added, the vowel turns from short to long. You might also notice that the E changes the pronunciation of the digraph TH. In the short vowel version of those words, it's an unvoiced TH, bath. But in the long vowel version, bathe, clothe, it becomes a voiced TH. Now remember that just because a word has a final silent E, it doesn't mean that it's a magic E. There are some other jobs that E does where he's not actually magic E at all. So job number 2, he can be a marker to negate plurality. Okay, that's a mouthful. What does that actually mean? We have many words that end with the phoneme S, but there's a problem with spelling this final sound with only an S. Take a look at the word house. If we spell each phoneme, h, ow, s, we would write H-O-U-S. That's what we hear. But now that could be confused with a plural, one how to house. So the E is added to act as a marker that lets us know this is just a word that has s as its final sound, and it's not a plural. This little marker can be used in instances where the word contains a vowel team, as in please, or a diphthong, like in mouse, or even in our controlled vowel like horse. Since the E is not creating a new long vowel sound, it's not considered a magic E. Job number 3, helping V in the final position. You may have noticed that words that end in the sound V are spelled VE in English. If that sound comes at the beginning or in the middle, we use a V, but at the end we always use VE. Sometimes that makes sense, as the final E does seem to be acting like a magic E. Consider words like save and hive. Definitely it's creating long vowel sounds there. But sometimes the final E is not creating a long vowel sound, so why is it there? In words like have or give, we have short vowels. But the E is added to avoid having to use the doubling rule. So consider this. If have were spelled the way it sounds, h-a-v, we would spell it H-A-V. But then, if we wanted to write the word having, where we're adding a vowel suffix, we would have to double the V before adding the ing. It was felt that two V's that close together could be mistaken for a W, and having might be misread as hawing, a completely different word. By adding the silent E, the need to use the doubling rule was completely avoided. Rather than doubling before adding a suffix, we employ the drop rule, and this limits the confusion. So HAVE, we drop the E and just add the ing, no two V's together. Job number 4, keeping C and G soft. In certain words that end in a C or a G, if we need the soft sound of these letters, we can add a silent E to create the right pronunciation. Consider a word like voice or siege. Without the E on the end, we would have voik and sieg. The E is not acting as a magic E, it's not creating long vowel sounds, it's simply there to give us the right pronunciation for the C and the G. Now, there are times when we avoid using the drop rule, even when it seems like it should be indicated, because the final silent E is necessary to maintain that correct sound. So take a look at a word like trace or manage. If we were to drop the final E when adding a suffix such as able, we would end up with trackable, managable. Neither of those spellings is going to give us the original sound of the base word. We really need the E back, so we don't drop it in words like this. And that's why we have spellings like traceable and manageable. That's better. Thank you, E. Job number 5, changing blends into syllables. When we teach consonant blend pronunciation to our students, we need to be very careful not to add any extra vowel sounds. So BR is br, as in brain, but it's not burr or bruh. CL is cl, but not cull or cla. We don't want to add any extra vowel sounds if it's just a consonant blend. But when a consonant plus LE spelling happens at the end of a word, it is actually pronounced as a whole syllable. By bull, cradle. These are not consonant blends, they're full syllables. Because every syllable needs a vowel sound, the final syllables do contain an unwritten schwa sound. If you listen, you'll hear a schwa between the B and the L in Bible, between the D and the L in cradle. However, it's an unwritten schwa, and we need to see a vowel, so the silent E is added so that we know this is a full syllable and not just a consonant blend. And then we know to pronounce the BLE as bull, and CLE as cull, and DLE as dull, and so on. Here's another important job for E. Job number 6, spelling content words. There are two types of words in our language. Content words are things such as nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs, and they carry most of the meaning in our sentences. And then we have function words such as interjections, conjunctions, pronouns, articles, and auxiliary verbs. These are of lesser importance, and they merely serve to connect the ideas or to keep things moving along grammatically. Now, the content words need to look really important, so they must be at least 3 letters long in order to grab the reader's attention. That's why we have AW, aw, as an interjection, but AWE, I'm in awe of that, as a noun. Or OR as a conjunction, but ORE, such as iron ore, as a noun. Adding that third letter without changing the pronunciation in these homophone pairs is yet another job for the marvelous E. And by the way, this little rule about content words needing to look long enough to really grab the reader's attention also explains spellings like egg, odd, and add, where you have a double G or a double D. It isn't needed for pronunciation, but it is needed, that extra letter, to let you know that it's an important word. So, what do you think? Is it time for a pay raise? You can see that our magnificent, multi-talented E fulfills many needs within our orthographic system. He works to exhaustion. He ensures that every word spelling avoids confusion, and it ensures proper pronunciation. The little E works with the other vowels to create digraphs and diphthongs, short and long vowel sounds, but then he puts in all that extra overtime, nights and weekends, to perform his many other tasks, and he rarely takes a break. It does seem as though he deserves some recognition for his efforts on behalf of English. If not a pay raise, let's at least give him a solid, heartfelt round of applause. Thank you, E. And thanks for listening.